StarCraft players can't get paid. Riot is bringing international teams together a little more often, and some very notable Counter-Strike players do some very bad things. I'm John Reisinger, and joining me as always are Meg Turney and the Daily Dot's Jared Wynne. Hello, everybody.
Oh, hi.
Here's what you need to know.
An investigation launched by the Daily Dot has turned up some unseemly details regarding match fixing in Counter-Strike. Evidence shows that the North American team, then competing under the name iBuyPower, purposefully threw a match last year that resulted in thousands of dollars changing hands.
Numerous people were involved in the scandal, including notable players Derek Boom and Sam Days Marine. The full extent of the issue still isn't quite known, but what is clear is those who set up the fix were able to walk away with thousands of dollars from bettors who thought they were putting money on an honest match. Jared, how big of a problem is this?
It's a significant problem.
How big of a problem is cheating?
Wait, no, we were talking about this before we started recording, which is, it's such a big problem that John read about it this week. Like, not only did I hear about it, but
Yeah,
John actually heard about it before he read the script.
I know nothing. We all know this, and I heard about it.
So
we saw the text message screenshots.
You allow the media to dictate you what's a big problem.
What I'm telling you is I read the Daily Dot article.
Ah, okay.
That you tweeted.
That's good. Yeah, it's good.
Too.
You should read my tweets
and
the articles at the Daily Dot. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. It's really as big a deal as cheating is, because you're doing two things here. You're taking money away from those who rightfully deserve it. In the case of cheating, like hacking a game, you're doing that by getting prize money that someone else should have gotten. Right. In the case of betting, you're taking money away from people who are betting on what should be an honest match. And you're also ruining the competitive integrity of the game, just as you do when you cheat. So it is equally bad compared to just cheating. And that's pretty bad. Like, that's the worst thing you can do, people would say, right? But it's treated a bit differently, I think. People kind of are willing to overlook it in some cases, whereas cheating is kind of viewed as a death sentence. You know, you do that and you're exiled forever from these communities. So I think match fixing should actually be treated as a bigger deal than it even is today.
Interesting. So people aren't like, fuck those people, they're out forever now?
Oh, no. Many of them are, but then many of them are less concerned, and many of them will just forget about it because, hey, at least they're still legit players. So, I mean, if they just don't match fix, then it's okay, right? Which is a really terrible thing.
That's the thing about cheating. Well, you know, as long as you don't cheat, they're fine.
Yeah, but cheating's somehow different, even though the effect is, again, almost exactly the same. You have the same effect from these two different acts. So
makes total sense.
It doesn't make much sense, actually. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's pretty bad. It's a weird situation that Valve is in as well, because they've never really formally acknowledged this whole betting thing that exists around Counter-Strike and Dota 2 as well, where they have these tradable items they create, cosmetic items they create for heroes in Dota 2 and for weapons in Counter-Strike that power sites like CSGO Lounge, who were at the center of this, because it's understandable why they wouldn't want to address it, because betting is a good thing for their game. It makes it healthier, right? Just like the NFL or the NBA want people to bet on their games, even though they're not going to say that. Like, the whole reason they have injury reports is so that you can know who's injured and you can adjust your betting accordingly, or your fantasy bets, or whatever the hell you're doing. It's the same thing here. It's good for the health of the game for people to bet on it. It drives interest. But now
interest in the game,
yes, but now it's having this adverse effect. So is the developer actually going to take a stance for once on this type of thing? What's that stance going to be? Are they going to actually address the fact that betting is a big thing in their game, much less a problem, if it is a problem? You know, that's a big, I think,
debate.
Could these people face charges of any kind? Because I mean, there's money involved at this point.
That's very complicated. I mean, yeah, that's. I'm not going to speculate on what kind of legalities.
We speculate on a lot of things. That's
suddenly I'm not speculating.
Well, it's because, frankly, I don't know, like, the legal beagle stuff you would need to know
what are you here
to say.
For, man? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, where'd you get all this information?
We're happy that you're here. We are.
No, that's fine.
Earlier this month, German team My Revenge, I see you giving me the bird, were involved in a similar scandal, that was scandalous too, with players being accused of throwing a show match, I spit everywhere because I was laughing, versus Vulgaire while betting against their own team. The organization immediately parted ways with the players and threatened a lawsuit. Is there something going on here? I mean, everywhere? Or is it just...
Well, it stands to reason that if we just had something like this come up a couple weeks ago in a show match, and we had this thing come up in a completely different part of the world some additional time ago, that match fixing is going on more frequently than just this, because these were two examples of just blatant throws. I mean, these guys did a really poor job in both cases of hiding the fact they were throwing the match. So what if, I don't know, someone wanted to make some money and happened to be intelligent enough to kind of cover it up as they went along?
Yeah.
What if that was the case? You know, what if someone who might also cheat and cover that up really well is also going to match fix and cover that up really well? I mean, there's no way to know for sure without knowing For sure.
I say everyone should just be able to cheat. Everyone cheats. So then it's an even playing ground.
See, that's how I feel about MMA. Everyone should get to take steroids. Now you should all beat the hell out of each other.
But it's not even because then their cheats are uneven. Unless you have them all running the same exact cheat.
Better cheat.
Who's got the best cheat?
Then it's a competition again.
Then it's a game again, yeah.
That's how it exists now. Is there's different types of cheats, and they work different ways. So it actually is already like that, where different people compete with different cheats. So your wish has been granted.
It's sad. It's a sad wish.
I'm making a joke that's actually the truth.
Yeah, but that's actually the case. Yeah, so this is a big problem. I think it's a bigger problem than we really know about. You know, our investigations, as robust as they are, aren't able to get to the bottom of every single possible match-fixing thing going on. I think there's a big difference in the reactions to these events. My Revenge, the organization here, they cut ties with the players. They said they were going to sue the players because they lost sponsorship money that the organization did as a result of the match fixing, because it was a black guy in the organization, so they lost sponsorships. As opposed to iBuyPower, who kind of did a focused cover-up on the whole thing, which is why it became such a big story now, because they made a point of silencing people who were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Shazam, a player for Cloud9 now, their sniper, their new star pickup, was going to go public with what he knew about it after an earlier investigation had revealed some details, but not all that we've revealed at this point, and he was told not to. He was told, no, you're gonna kill the scene here, you're gonna ruin people getting sponsors, it's gonna be a bad thing for the health of the game in this region if you do this, so don't do it. And then they put a switchblade at his knife. At his nose.
At his knife. I mean, you don't want to hurt somebody's knife in Counter-Strike, they're important.
He pulled a knife, and then they pulled a switchblade, and for some reason, that was enough to scare him off, even though he had a more dangerous weapon. Potentially, it could have been like a butter knife, though.
Right.
This is going.
So the point is that it was like
There's a point.
Yes, it was a conspiracy, John.
There's a point.
It was a big cover-up.
I didn't know that.
Well, I already mentioned the cover-up, then I went into
true.
this thing. So the point was established when I started talking.
Right.
If
No,
you were
I got
paying
it.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meg
that.
got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay, John.
Yeah.
Just go play with your dog or something.
Okay, she's not here anymore.
Well, that's your problem.
Jordan stole
So it is a problem. Yes, it's bad. There's conspiracies and covers up, and there's thousands of dollars being lost this way. You could get drunk.
Does this... How dare you? I'm the only one supporting you on this stage.
Yeah, but you did.
We're just trying to alienate everybody.
I have an actual question. So does this mean that a lot of people now are being falsely accused of match fixing? Like if they happen to lose in a match and they were the favorites, do people immediately cry foul?
Yes. Whenever a team is a big favorite and they go down or they have a bad performance, or even if you're just betting on a team and they start losing, it's like, oh, they're throwing. You know, throws are just like considered it's a funny thing to say when a team does poorly now, or they lose a big advantage. You know, they choke basically. You say, oh, they're throwing. It's jokingly, but they say that as a joke because it's such a prevalent thing, or at least potentially could be. So you don't know. It really sucks for the competitive integrity of the game. Why watch the game if you think players are cheating or they're throwing the match?
Exactly.
It's very unfortunate. You just have to hope that they're not doing those things.
Well, speaking of getting paid, one of the most popular players in StarCraft 2 is having a hard time doing just that. Jang MC Mintrel just can't find anyone willing to pay his asking price. Jang's looking for a reasonably modest $3,000 per month, $36 on the year. Unable to find a team willing to pay, he's now contemplating retirement.
This is so sad.
Jared, is this an issue? I mean, with Jang in particular?
I guess it's an issue for him.
Yeah.
He can't get work. It does show that StarCraft 2 is not in the place it once was. And it's kind of funny, or I don't know if it's funny really, but StarCraft was like the first truly professional competitive game, if you look at its success in Korea. And now, as competitive gaming is becoming a pretty common thing and a really big business, obviously, with millions and millions of dollars and all these viewers and such, StarCraft is kind of lagging behind. I think Blizzard is actually kind of to blame for what's going on here, to waste what they had as the industry has become so healthy and robust, to be the leader in that, and then to just lag all the way down to where one of those popular players in the world can't get a $3K a month salary. That, I think, shows their missteps. As for him, it's kind of a case of, you know, here's a shoulder to cry on. I mean, he's made good money in the past playing StarCraft 2. So if he wants to make good money right now playing a competitive game, I guess he can look towards a game that has more money to be made in it. Or he can wait for the next expansion of StarCraft 2 and hope that it's more successful, that Blizzard does a better job with it. Blizzard is trying to do a better job with competitive gaming with their titles. I think they have said they're going to do more with Hearthstone this year. they really poorly managed that last year. They had ladder play determine people who were going to play in the World Championship,
right?
Which is just a terrible idea for a number of reasons. They badly mishandled StarCraft, that we talked about. They said the Heroes of the Storm, they're going to make a really good effort with that. We'll see. There's a lot of potential there. So I think Blizzard has a lot to answer for here. If MC's mad at anybody, he should be mad at Blizzard.
You are just, we're about to talk about somebody else you shit on last week.
Well, fuck them.
Just you.
Who is it?
I like that you can't actually see the prompter, so you have no clue. Now we turn our attention to the Bunker Bunch, aka Riot Games. The developer has announced a new event set to debut this year, the Mid-Season Invitational. The tournament will serve as an additional way to bring together teams from different regions internationally. Spring split champions from each of the main regions will clash, with a wildcard team being added to the mix as well. So Jared, why create this event?
To have more international events, to have more international teams playing one another. I think the fans, I will say that for Riot, they are appropriately reactive at times to the community. People want more international events. They want more teams from Korea playing teams from Europe and North America and China. So here you go, a mid-season invitational. The best teams from each region are going to play with a wild card as well. It's a fun thing for everyone. It's just a generally good thing for the game as well. You have these teams coming together a little bit more often than they did before with one additional international event. So it's an all-around good, positive thing Riot's doing. And thumbs up with both hands for this wonderful play by the company to do this. Of course, I can only hope it's executed properly because their takeover of the LPL stream was not. They haven't even broadcast every game live. In fact, some VODs were not uploaded due to technical restrictions, I believe it was called. What technical restrictions cause you not to be able to upload VODs of games played? Maybe you didn't actually broadcast them or alpha commentary, so you had no game to upload as a VOD. Maybe that's what's going on there. Maybe they didn't really put enough forethought into what they were doing with the takeover after telling the LPL organization, a community-run organization, to just go fuck off and no longer have their previous jobs.
I felt like they were behind the set, like ready to hurt you, and then you unleashed, and now I feel better, like that no one's back there, possibly to beat us up after the show.
So positive and so encouraging, and then just
they're actually under the table.
Okay. I had a drinking joke, but I just decided to kill it. That's the sound I make when I decide, nah, that's joke.
What joke?
We'll find out after the cameras turn off.
That's the joke.
That's it for the leaderboard this week. Catch the Know It All on Friday on the Rooster Teeth channel, where they'll just bring you all the biggest news stories of the week in one shot.
In the meantime, for more gaming and entertainment, make sure you click like and subscribe. And we'll see you next week for more from the leaderboard. GG, everyone. And GG to whoever put 17 spaces between those two reads.